What's going on, guys? Teen Mechanic here. I thought I'd bring you a quick little video because, I wanted to loop you guys in, and also this serves as anyone coming from the Kijiji or Facebook Marketplace ad. Here is the video of this truck. It's time that I sell this thing. Unfortunately, it served me very, very well. I bought it, I don't even remember when I bought it. I think it was something like March or April. It was just after I had sold the Mazda, and it's been insured and driven ever since, and it did very, very well. This thing has, like I mentioned, I'll go through it here. I'm going to keep it short, but I'll go through it. It's got this long bed with dual tanks, which I really, really like. It has been very useful, and I haven't been afraid to use this bed, I will admit. She's not super pretty. She's missing a little bit of the bed, but it's definitely served its purpose. The tailgate works just fine. This tailgate is actually in really good shape. I found it, believe it or not, at the junkyard. I know, right? It's very close color. You can't even tell. But no, it's perfectly solid and in very good shape. So that's why I picked it up. The other one was not. It's got a little bit of surface rust starting down here, but there's definitely a lot of rust hidden underneath here. It's got a little bit of side swipe damage, thanks to yours truly. But nothing crazy on this side that's visible. I clear coated the hood because there was no clear coat on it and it looked terrible, so I just threw some clear coat on there for now. This side is when things start to kind of get a little bit worse for the wear. You can see the clear coat's peeling a little bit. Gas tank doors are both quite rusty, this one especially, although I got most of the loose rust off of this one. You can see there are definitely some holes in this sucker. These rims are actually pretty nice. This is the worst one, but you look around, they're actually decent, and these tires are pretty much new. You can actually see the DOT on these suckers is on the other side, but it is, I believe they're from 2019, and they're MotoMasters, but they're all-terrains and they're in great shape, so I picked them up and they really definitely suit the truck. And these rims, I wanted to keep these if I could, because they're nice and they're original Ford rims, but they're 15-inch, so I picked these up as soon as I found them. But yeah, it's a Lariat, so you've got some extra trim, right? It's a little bit upscale. Let's take a look inside. It's got the original Ford keys. I've got two sets of keys. I cleaned it up a little bit, vacuumed the floors and seats and whatnot, and cleaned the dash off. You can see it's in pretty good shape. I had a subwoofer in here at one point. That doesn't go with the truck, but this truck only has 173,859 kilometers on it, which is fantastically low. It's got an aftermarket stereo in here. This stereo's older. It's not fantastic. It's like from 09 or 2010 or something, removable faceplate era, and just have the wire tucked into the ashtray. But no, it works. It works very well. You can play your own music. You can get an adapter for if you've got a newer phone. Play your own music. Horn works well. I actually had to fix the horns. Only one of them worked, and it sounded ridiculous. What I really love, these wing windows, little things like that were, available in this era. Hood latch is here for future reference. If you're watching this video before you come see it, you'll know where the hood latch is. So you can see here's the 351 Windsor. That's the 5.8. Seems to be in pretty good shape. It's definitely got an exhaust leak coming from this manifold, which is too bad, but it still runs well. It's relatively quiet. I'll start it up so you can hear it. Throttle linkage is all good. Nothing seems to stick, although it stalls sometimes. That could be a couple of different things. The injectors are a little worn out, so she's not super great on gas, but it's that's the way it goes with these older things. Definitely keep up on the oil. It goes through a little bit of oil every 5,000 to 7,000 clicks. But that's, like I said, that's totally typical for an older truck like this. I mean, if you're looking for a truck of this vintage, you should already be used to things like that. That's how it goes. AC actually does technically work. The compressor works, but if you put R12A refrigerant in there, it leaks out pretty quick. That could have been just because I had a cap on here. I think might have been pressing against the Schrader valve. But if not, then it's probably somewhere else in the system. Would not surprise me one bit. Yeah, headlights are in good shape. The one thing is the park light on this side actually is cracked. But that's, you know, that's the way it goes. I've also got a bush guard for the whole, it's a chrome front bush guard for this truck. If you were interested in that, I'd sell it to you. I mean, I don't know. I'm sure I'll use it at some point in the future, so that's why it's off, and I'm planning to keep it unless you want it, but if not, then hey, whatever. Dome light works. Actually, I believe all interior lights work, and exterior lights, including that cargo light. That's if you turn the interior lights on. But yeah, that is about it. I also wired in a 7-pin trailer power, which is right down here, as you can see. That helps when you're towing a trailer. You can't tow very much with the bumper ball. I think it's 5,000 or 5,500 pounds is the maximum capacity, but I have towed a car hauler before with a car on it that was just about 5 or 5,500 pounds. So, and it did it like just fine. I mean, I could feel that there was a trailer behind me, but this engine actually does a pretty good job towing. I'm surprised. But let's fire it up here. I did mention in the ad that there's an ignition issue. Here is the ignition tumbler. As you can see, this is the original Ford ignition tumbler, not broken, still works. I've removed it out of the steering column simply because there's a little actuator that breaks inside of here, and it's cracked. I've actually totally removed it and bypassed it. So what I did is I just took the trim off from around here, and I'm using vice grips to hold onto this ignition rod. So all you do is just push this thing forward, that puts it in the run position, and then push and hold to start it. As you can see, it's cold, hasn't been running. It's got very little gas in it, but you've got 2 tanks, which is definitely a bonus. But yeah, she runs pretty good. Sometimes it'll stall when it idles down. That's just an older truck thing. I mean, it shouldn't do that, but it's probably a relatively easy fix. But yeah, this truck has served me very, very well. Heat works very well for the winter. Yeah, I'm actually pretty happy with it. It's got a trailer brake right there with hydraulic pressure, with the hydraulic pressure actuation, which is very interesting. And the reason you know this is because you can see this line that comes off of the master cylinder, and it goes right into the firewall. You can hear it. It's definitely not quiet, but it's not that loud. Let's see if you can hear this exhaust leak. It actually just idled down there and didn't stall. So that's exactly the circumstance when it would stall. So it didn't. So that's good. But you can hear that exhaust leak coming from the manifold. It's probably a mix of the manifold and the donut flange. But the frame is super solid on this sucker. The frame is great. I would have no issues with that. This truck doesn't have any catback exhaust. Yeah, it stalls. Every time you rev it up like that, it stalls. So I managed to catch it on camera. That's exactly what happens. When it's cold, especially, and it's idling high and then idles down, that's when it stalls. Or if you give it the beans, it'll stall when it's cold. That's just the way it works. So that's too bad, but, you know, it's probably not that big of a deal. So yeah, that's that. Don't lock your keys in it, because it's very easy to do when you don't need them to even start the truck, which is the one thing. I guess it would technically be easy to steal, but yeah, I'm gonna have that fixed. I mean, depending on how long I have it. But anyway, yeah, if you're interested in this truck, give me a call. My number's in the ad. I prefer calls, really. You know, it's just a lot easier for me to see and answer. If I don't answer, I'll call you back. But yeah, that's basically the gist of it. If you're interested, call me. I'm easy to work with. So yeah, that's the truck. It's too bad it's gotta go, but it's gotta go. So yeah, let me know. I'll see you all very soon in the next video. right now I'm driving my friend Lewis's truck because unfortunately, you know, this thing, I mean, I got to take the insurance off of this thing too, right? So anyway, that's my spiel. So yeah, give me a call if you're interested. I'll see you soon in the next video. Take it easy. Bye-bye.